Alright guys, in the previous video we have learned about Material UI make styles to add custom styling to our components. In this video we are going to learn how to use Material UI grid system to make complex layout easily. Okay, so first of all, what is Material UI grid? It isn't really CSS grid. It uses flexbox behind the scenes for high flexibility. So there are two types of layout. We have something called a container. Another thing is item. The item weights are in percentages. That's why they are always stays fluid and sized relative to their parent. You can also resize the grid items by these 5 breakpoints. So what are the breakpoints in Material UI? So this is our breakpoints. We have XS, SM, MD, LG and XL, total 5. And we also have a visual representation of these breakpoints about their ranges. So for example, XS start from 0 pixels to 599 pixels and SM starts from 600 pixels to 959 pixels and so on. We can change our grid item size by their breakpoints and we're going to see how. Alright, so let's understand some concepts. So this is our basic grid system. We have a container. This box that you're seeing, this is a grid container, and all of these little boxes that you are seeing with text is a grid item. The whole container is divided into 12 parts, or you can say 12 grids, and you can specify an item that how much space that it should take based on the breakpoint. For example, in this grid item, we are saying that XS to have value 12. That means on the XS breakpoint, this grid item should take 12 grid, the whole space actually. When the screen width is 0 from infinity, it will take 12 grid, the whole space. In the next example, we have XS value of 6. That means from 0 to infinity, it should take 6 grid space. And if it takes 6 grid, that means we have 6 more grid left. So we can put another grid item on the remaining space. So that's why we have another grid item, which has also the XS of 6. And 6 plus 6 is 12. That's why we have 2 grid items in a single row. And in the last row, we have 4 grid items. Each of these items are taking 3 grids, which adds up to 12 grid. And you don't need to specify only one breakpoint. You can specify multiple breakpoint on a single grid item. So if I scroll down, like before, we have XS of 12, which will always take the whole space, the 12 grid. On the second grid item, we are seeing that we have XS of 12 and SM of 6. And we know that SM starts from 600 pixels. So this line means when the screen size is 0 to 599 pixels, which is below of SM, it will take 12 grid space. When the screen size will be under 600 to infinity, it will take 6 grid. And you will see how it works. Okay, so then we have some interactivity with the grid system. You can change the direction, row reverse, column, just like we have in Flexbox. Okay, we have justify, align items, and so on. You can create this kind of complex layout with Material UI grid. So enough talking, let's start the coding. So this is where we have left off in the last video. So in case if you haven't seen it, please watch it. I will put the link on the cards and description. On the pages directory, I'm going to create another file. I will call it grid.jsx. Again, RAFCE. For component, I will call it MUI grid. So let's import some component. First of all, I'm going to need the grid component from Material UI core/grid. Then I'm going to need box component, box from Material UI core/box. Okay, so these are the components that we need. Let's just delete those divs. I don't need them. I will create a grid container. So grid. Now to make this component as a container, we need to give a container prop. So container. Okay, now this grid component is a container. Now inside the container, I'm going to create a grid item. So grid, I need to give item prop to make it item, and inside the item we need to put our children's box, and inside the box I'm going to type this is a grid item. So let's just save the file to format the code, and Prettier has just formatted the code for me. And if you want to learn how to set up ESLint and Prettier with React, I have a video about it on my channel. I will put the link on the description. So I need to give some styling to the components. So I'm going to import MakeStyles. And again, if you haven't seen the MakeStyles video, please watch it first. So MakeStyles, actually this will be named import MakeStyles from Material UI core / styles. So let's call MakeStyles. I will pass an object. Let's make a container class, container. This will have a background color of blue. I also need an item class which will have background of red. Now I want the font color of the children to be white, so let's just color to white. And as you know that MakeStyles will return as a hook, so let's store that. Const use styles, and let's just restructure return object from useStyles. So const from useStyles let's destructure container and item. So add it to the component. So grid item, class name, item. Alright, let's just save the file, and I will run the development server, yarn dev, and as you can see that it looks pretty ugly, so let's just style it more. So I'm going to give the container to height 10 view height. Also I want the item to have some padding, so padding to rem. Okay, so let's just save the file and see. Okay, so this is how it looks now, and by default it is taking only one grid space out of 12. So how can we make this grid item to take the whole space? So inside the item I need to use access prop. From 0 to infinity I want it to take 12 grid, so access, give the value 12, not string 12, a number 12. Okay, so save the file, and as you can see that it has taken the whole space because we have specified access to have 12. Now what if I want this grid item to take only the half space when the screen size is larger than 960 pixels, which is the MD breakpoint? So to do that I just need to pass MD prop and give the value 6, and let's see. So as you can see that it has took only 6 grid, which is the half, and if I shrink the screen size it should take the whole space again when it will go under 960 pixels. So if I open up the development tools, I will go to mobile view, and let's just go to 960 pixels, 960. If I shrink now it should take the whole space. So as you can see that it has took whole space. So this is how you have to resize your grid items based on the breakpoints. So this is how it really works. You can create much complex layout with Material UI Grid, like this application. This is a social media application that I've developed, which is called Confession, and its goal is to help people overcome their imposter syndrome. I will put the link on the description. Feel free to check that out. And this whole layout has been built with Material UI grid system. To learn more about them, just visit their docs, go to their APIs, and you will learn more about them. That's it for this video and the whole series. If the video series have been helpful for you, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'm about to start a new course on how to create a static blogging site using Jamstack, where you will learn about NextJS, dynamic routing, static site generation, API routes, MongoDB, and so on. You can demo the project that I'm going to build. Just go to jamstack/blog/demo.vercel.app. I will put the link on the description. You are going to learn how to build this static site in that video series, okay? So if you have any question, feel free to ask them on the comment section. If you want to see more content, you can follow me on any social media like LinkedIn or Instagram as that Anjan. The links will be on the description. I will see you on the next video series. Goodbye.